Hello and welcome to Creativity. This is a space where I share some knitting and crochet patterns that I find on Ravelry. I'm a big fan of Ravelry and I just love to explore it and see what my friends are adding to their favorites or what they are making. And I'm always so excited to find so many gorgeous patterns that I don't think I have the skills to make yet. And so I just save them, and this is a space for me to share them. The first pattern I'm gonna share, it's the Puzzle Sweater by Moray Knits. Just wow! So this is a lovely piece that it's complicated. You can see it's complicated. It's a Korean designer from what I can get, but the pattern is available in English too. This is a drop shoulder design with a shawl collar. It features a moderately deep neck and all parts are made of different aran patterns. Just like putting together a puzzle piece by piece, match the pattern you want with the thread you have. This is a gorgeous way to use your scrap yarn and also a lovely way to experiment with different patterns and try out some cables design that you might have not tried yet, but not having them on a whole sweater or on a whole cardigan. I think it can be a little easier to approach as a beginner because you're going to knit the pattern for just a rather small square, and I do believe it's a little bit easier on the mind to approach a small design rather than a large one. And I also think it looks gorgeous. There are two samples shown on the pattern page. So one is the one of the picture of the pattern and it's super colorful even though it has these pastel vibes. But the other one, it's all made in shades of blue and light blue, and it's just as stunning. So I do believe this is a fairly complicated knit since it has so many different textures. This pattern has just 5 projects with photos on the Ravelry section, but they are all gorgeous. I love the first one that it's in green and pink, 2 very trendy colors at the moment. And I love that there's a whole beige sweater. It looks gorgeous and I just love all of them. I would really like to know how long it takes to knit one of these, but I do think it's a labor of love. And well, if you want to learn some advanced techniques, but if you don't want to feel constricted to just one of them, I think this is a lovely option. Moving on, I have the Author by Jared Flood. This is a gorgeous cardigan. I have been eyeing this for the longest time because I absolutely love the neck detail of this cardigan. It has this very large neck that slims down towards the front, and I do believe it is quite weighty. I think it's a bit more jacket than cardigan because it does look sturdy in the pictures. But I love the details of the pockets and the button that was added on the pockets and the fact that the ribbing on the neck alternates, so it's horizontal on the back of the neck and then it's vertical. No wait, it's the horizontal on one side and vertical on the other. And once again, a piece that I do believe requires some time to make, but it looks great in this tweed. Both the samples that are shown in the red terracotta color and the blue petrol-like color are amazing. It says it's a cozy sweater that blends the comfort of a classic oversized cardigan with the thoughtful design details to create a flattering and easy-to-wear garment. The deep raglan yoke enhances both comfort and ease of movement, while the trim length of the lower body maintains a clean silhouette. A curved hem crafted with short rows allows the cardigan to sit slightly lower at the back for a tailored fit. The wide bluesy sleeves offer freedom of movement, tapering dramatically at the wrist for a sleek, flattering finish. Tailoring darts at the waist and back neck further refine the fit. I do believe the designer did an awesome job constructing this. I think it has some like sewing, not sewing into it, but like sewing notion into the way it was constructed. And like the construction list on the Ravelry page of this, it's a lot, but just because it has so many details, I believe, and it looks amazing. It's made for Brooklyn tweed, so it uses their yarns, and it does have a variety of special techniques in this pattern that I think make it, let's say, intermediate, if not adventurous intermediate, like it says. So we have Italian tubular cast on, the buttonholes, the short rows, as we said before, the double decreases, seaming, whip stitch, sewing down the facing, blocking, and the patch pockets. If you were gonna do this, I think it would require a lot of attention, but then also it would become like a staple in your closet, and I would be extremely jealous of your make. This has a bit more projects on the project section on Ravelry, and most of them are in grey or in red. I love that there are some beige one. This one from Callis A, and they called it Fanfic Cardi, has a whole photo shoot inside a library with this cardigan on, and I think they are a librarian. It's gorgeous, it's lovely. I love every pic out of this one. And I also really like seeing it in yellow. There are two projects that have done so, but they are not finished yet. There's also an olive one, like a olive green one, not finished yet, but it already looks very, very great. It's gorgeous, it's lovely. All the comments says that the shaping is super, super well made. So I believe this is a well-written pattern. I wouldn't recommend this for a beginner, but I definitely will recommend this if you are looking for an adventure. Moving on, we have the Scarf Cowl with Ear by Jen Giesen. This is a scarf. When I saw the picture for this, I instantly knew it was going into a creativity episode, because this is so textural. It looks like on the mannequin, it looks like they are wearing some tires around their shoulders. It's so thick and three-dimensional. It's made in worsted yarn. It's a 3-page PDF, so I think the chart is gonna be repeated. And so once you get the gist of it, it's not gonna be too complicated to make, but it does look amazing. It looks like something out of this world. Looks a bit costumey, perhaps, but in a fun way. Like, it has some projects on Ravelry, but just one of those with pictures, and the one with pictures is just started. So I think we would love to see more of this. I have to address the last photo. I have to address it because I think it's, yes, it's not a real photo, but it's not AI. It's a photo of a model where the scarf cowl was edited onto the picture. And it looks so silly. But again, in a fun way. It just looked like it came out of Mad Max, you know? Yeah, I would really love to see this in like a Mad Max wintry version. Then we move on to the pillow cover, and it's the Alice in Wonderland cushion or blanket by Violet Green. This is a lovely Alice in Wonderland based cushion, and these are illustrations by Sir John Tenniel. They are super funky, and the color palette presented is very, very nice in both, in all of the picture. There are 3 different ones, and they are super, super cute. And I think this would be a lovely way to try some color work, and I would say it's fairly easy because each square only requires 2 colors, so it's a good introduction to the technique. And I do believe you could also make this using duplicate stitch, so if you are afraid of doing color work, you could also do this differently. And I think it would look great also, like if you have existing swatches of different yarns and you wanted to sew them together and add some duplicate stitch on the swatches, you could achieve something like this. So this kind of patchwork pillow cover, great. And I love that they made it specifically for the 55 by 55 centimeters cushion from IKEA. So this cushion cover fits the cushion from IKEA, and that's just convenient. It does say in the description that this can also be adapted as a blanket, and I would really like to see that, I think. In the project section of this one, we have some lovely projects. I love this one by Jane Audrey. That's done in a 2 colorway, and it is knitted double, I think. So both colorway are good and ready to use. And one is blue with white, while the other one is white with blue. I think my favorite squares out of all of them is the one with the Cheshire Cat. I think as a drawing that would work wonderfully on just on its own, like on a pocket or on a patch, or even done bigger on a sweater. And last but not least, we have some socks. And these are the Lindal Crew sock by Walden. These are a knitted pair of socks that are elvishly beautiful. Like this came out of the elvish realm in like the Lord of the Rings or stuff like that. These are gorgeous. I love the colors, I love the pattern, I love the design choice for this, and I appreciate that they also have a photo with the socks worn, because that's not all sock designer add a photo of the sock worn, but it does change the way that the colors and the texture is displayed. So I appreciate that they took one. And both of the colors that they use for the samples, so the green one and the brown one, I love them so much. This literally came out of a dream, a fantasy dreamland. So many wonderful pictures about this. So this design is knit sideways with a provisional cast on and then grafted together. So I think it's a wild way to knit socks, and they would be quite scared to make this. But since the end result is so great, I might think I might add them to like a dream pattern wish list. The pattern includes wrap and turn sections to create a series of short row shapes that create this beautiful texture. There's a vector art diagram for yarn placement, and if you have a bunch of partial ball windings that you would like to use up, it makes the perfect stash buster. This has some projects, and I think all of the projects are so different from one another and all beautiful nonetheless. I do believe my favorite ones are the ones in green and brown, because they are more earthy and I do love earthy tones, but all the other ones are so Arlequin-esque in a way that's beautiful and stunning. All the Ravelry user marked this down as a good pattern and they are happy with their outcome. And I just want to point out some of my favorite, like Evex Lindal crew socks. These are almost fiery. It's like each one of these socks is speaking to a specific element of nature, and these ones are fire, while like Luna Llama's socks are more water. I don't know if I'm making sense, but when I see this, it's like Avatar. The good Avatar, not the bad Avatar. And yeah, I think they all look great, and I would truly love to be able to make this. And if they came out like half as good as the photo on this page, I would be happy. And that was it for today. Do you have any more that you want to share with me for future episode of Creativity? I hope you like these patterns and let me know what you thought of them, and I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely knit. See you in the next video. Bye!